Welcome back to CentralValleyTalk.com with Mike Briggs and Athena. It's been a crazy day out there, but I am here with my friend Alissa Malakan. I almost called her Malakian. That's one of my really good friend's last name, Malakian. Alissa Malakan, and we're just having a mom-to-mom talk about having kids and autism, and there's different spectrum and levels of autism. Tell us who you're with. What's the name of your organization?
It's called GRAND, and it stands for Growing Resources for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Disabilities.
Wow. And is it a new organization? Has it been around for a long time?
We started in October.
Wow, so you are brand new.
Sure, we're brand new.
Wow.
We've started several local projects to address the programs in the Valley that we have seen. So
Fresno, Clovis, the whole Central
the
Valley.
whole Central Valley.
Wow, so you're going to be handling, like, if a family's in need, or maybe you're going to do some stuff in Modesto or Tulare, like all the counties.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a pretty big
plan.
job. And are you running it? Are you in charge?
Yes, I am
You're
in
the
charge
one.
at this point, and we have several other families with kids on the spectrum that are involved in this with us.
And it was Autism Awareness Month last month. I just learned from Alissa, because my son's a wrestler, and on all their headsets, and maybe even some baseball players too, they had different colors. Mm-hmm. And it says National Autism Month or Autism Matters or something like that.
Sure.
Can you explain about autism? Because I know a lot of kids with autism. I've seen different things.
Okay.
There's high-end, low, different spectrums of it.
Sure, there's a vast range of functionality, but autism essentially is a social communication disorder, and another part of it, there's some type of a repetitive behavior, whether that is a sound or different self-stimulatory behaviors like hand flapping, that kind of a thing. That's part of the diagnosis criteria.
Now we were talking about your daughter,
Yes.
my friend's son. We were at Vintage Days. She told me that her son had autism, and we were at Vintage Days. It was really, really hot. It was just hot, lots of people and loud noises, and he was there for a long time. So he just lost it, and I think I was about to lose it myself because it was like all these kids and it was so hot. But he lost it, and she said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I said, "Please, don't worry about it. He's a kid." And she said he's autistic, and when he gets upset,
It's overwhelmed. A
and
lot
it's
of kids have sensory.
It was a sensory thing.
Yeah,
with
sensory
their loud
processing
noises.
is a problem, and a lot of times, what our brain filters out, somebody with autism, like right now, you can hear the fan in the background, but you wouldn't necessarily notice it. But somebody with autism would notice every little sound that's going on, and so when you're in a crowded space,
they're like, "Oh, what's that noise?"
Sure.
Almost like ADHD a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't really blend together. So in an environment where there's a lot of people or a lot of loud noises, it can become very overwhelming.
And there's different spectrums. What is Asperger's? Is that a form?
Asperger's is a form of autism, and now it's encompassed in ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder.
Okay.
But that's would be a higher level of functionality. So people with Asperger's will probably be in, mainstream education, that kind of a thing. Might seem a little bit socially quirky, but
I know some musicians that have it.
Sure.
And they're up on stage performing, but then when you talk to them, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
I can't describe it.
They separate
but they have
themselves
Asperger's.
from that. Sure.
Interesting. Okay, so Asperger's is a little different than autism. It's a form of autism. Mm-hmm. You have a child with autism. That's why you're so passionate.
I do, yes. My daughter lost skills around 18 months of age. She stopped progressing with her speech. She stopped responding to her name.
But she did at first.
She did, yes. Everything was
crazy.
Typical developmentally.
And they're twins, by the way.
Sure,
That's a very interesting
twins.
thing.
I have a boy and a girl.
Wow.
But when she lost those abilities, I went to our pediatrician, and our pediatrician told me it's been years since she had seen a little girl with autism, so not to worry about it. So,
that's interesting.
Sure.
And you're right. There's a lot of boys with autism.
It's 4 times more likely in a boy.
4 times more
than in
likely.
a
I
girl.
wonder why that is.
I think it's because girls present differently.
Okay.
So a little girl with autism might not be as stereotypically autistic as a little boy. They might not have the same symptoms.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of been the way it is with my daughter. I mean, at this point, she's in a typical class. She's indiscernible
Now
from her
she
peers.
is.
She's extremely social,
Wow.
which with a boy, that might not be the case. But I think as
They
girls...
withdrawal.
Sure. But girls, we learn to blend in and fit in and that kind of a thing naturally. And I think that's might be why girls go undiagnosed.
Interesting. So take us back. So she's 18 months. She's not progressing.
Sure.
And you just told me earlier that she wasn't even talking at 4. Just your pediatrician at first said...
It's a speech delay.
Wow.
There's nothing else really there. So, we pursued speech services.
Okay.
And I asked our speech pathologist, could this be autism? And she said no. And about a month later, she told me, I think maybe you should seek out assessment. So when we did that, she was diagnosed. They sent us to the school district and to their program. And then I got her started in services.
So you got her started in services, and now she's, how old is she now?
Now she's 6. She's in kindergarten and in a typical class and excelling. She's learning to read. So
that
it's
is
pretty
so
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
So what does Grant do? Do you help kids with autism like excel like your daughter? Do you try to help different services?
That's our long-term goal. So what we did as the parents that are involved in this, we looked at the problems in the Valley. So the first problem that we saw was there are not enough professional practitioners. There's a wait list at every ABA facility for months.
Wow.
So the last
Not
thing...
the pediatrician. These are the specialists.
This is a specialist. So when you get a diagnosis, you're very stressed out. I mean, it's incredible.
Yes.
And all you want to do is help your child, and then they tell you have to wait 6 months. So
I know the feeling. Like therapy and anxiety. I had to do this with my son, and
it's
I'm
hard.
like, I can't even get in. He needs help.
Yeah, yesterday, really.
Yes, especially autism.
Sure, early intervention is important. So we opened a scholarship fund at Central Valley Community Foundation, and we're offering 10 graduate level scholarships in fields related to autism. So for behavioral analysts, for speech language pathology, occupational therapy, and then special education.
How awesome is that? That's incredible. So you're doing that. You mentioned, what else are you doing? You were mentioning you're trying to buy a car or a truck and going down to different places.
Of course. We're partnering with the Talk Team, which is a local speech and language company, and we are buying a utility vehicle that will travel to rural areas and provide speech services and assessment, because most of those families don't have a speech pathologist in their town, and then they have to take a complete full day off of work to come here and get their child for
I'm
speech
thinking
services.
like even like Sanger, Kerman, Mendota, all these other places. They might not have or have the knowledge of what you knew to get that early intervention with
Of course. That's what our hope is with this.
So are you having any events or anything coming up, or how can people help?
We just had an event, actually. It was our first event, and we sold out, so that was great. We are looking at doing a golf tournament in the fall, so that's something that's coming up. But if anybody wants to help out now, you can go to our website, which is www.grandcv.org, and you can donate there or reach out to me with ways that you feel you can help.
That is so awesome. If someone is listening, we're on the World Wide Web, if someone watching, listening right now that's like, I think my son or daughter is autistic, or how do I get them help? What's the first thing that they do? Okay,
the first thing I would do would be to take an MChat questionnaire, which you can find online.
MChat?
MChat. I believe it's mchat.org.
Okay. That's an assessment?
It's an assessment that you can do at home.
Okay.
And it gives you a risk level.
Wow.
So if your child is on the high risk level, you need to go into your pediatrician right away and see about getting a referral to the regional center for assessment.
This is incredible. So if you want to help out, there's a number. You know what to do. Would a pediatrician also give a referral? Can you see your pediatrician?
Yes.
And it can give a referral. And if you have a golf tourney coming up, please let us
back
know.
And get that.
Come back. Let's get it all fired up and get people to donate, and we'll get some teams together. And real quick, you mentioned about girls having autism. So my husband's, I don't know how to explain it. I guess she's my cousin in marriage, my husband's cousin. She's got a daughter that's autistic. She's doing very well, excelling at school. But I remember when she was first diagnosed, she wasn't talking, and then animals would make her nervous. She'd freak out over like a cat or a dog. And then she couldn't fly anywhere. Something to do with like the unknown would make her, but now she's so much better.
Sure.
And I don't know how she got better, but the pediatrician and a specialist, I mean, they truly help.
Intervention, yeah. A lot of people on the spectrum have a really hard time when their routine isn't followed. So traveling on a plane, I know my daughter has a really hard time on the plane.
Because it's probably noises.
Sure.
And
she
the whole unknown.
Doesn't understand like the pressure change and that kind of a thing. And that's not something, as much as I explain it to her, and they offer her social stories, you talk them through ahead of time so they know what to expect. It still becomes really, really hard.
It is hard. And how do you calm them down when they get upset?
It really depends. A lot of times you kind of have to wait it out
and wait for that episode to carry through and for them to calm down.
Meltdown, sure.
Well, you seem like a calming person. I feel calm just talking to you. Alissa, Malakan.
Yes.
All right, Malakan, give her a call, or you could go to the website if you want to donate. See that website? Is it
grandcv.org.
Grandcv.org.
Yes.
Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you want to tell everyone?
I really think we covered it all. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, you were awesome. Let's help you out with a golf tournament or whatever you got going on.
Of course.
And donate, and now you know what to do. If you suspect your son or daughter or someone that you think might be autistic, and you know how to get help now. We'll be this right after back. Mike Briggs and Athena, CentralValleyTalk.com.